Namaste and welcome to Bharatiyata. Many people ask me what is Bharatiyata. Before coming directly into what is Bharatiyata, let me clarify why Bharat and not India. Of course, when I talk also many times I may be using this word India, but let me clarify why Bharat. Let us look at this word India. This word India basically is a phonetic mistake. It's a phonetic mistake. It has got no meaning to it. Because when the Greek came here, they called our river Sindhu as Indus. Of course, that might be the way they addressed that river, but for us, it is Sindhu, not Indus. And from Indus, all the people who lived away from Indus were called as Indi. They called us as Indi people. And from there, it became India. So India per se doesn't have any meaning, whereas Bharat has got a meaning. Bha stands for knowledge and Rath means that which is riding on, and this country has been riding on, and this country has been radiating knowledge for the whole world. We always keep telling that Bharat was like a mentor for the whole world at one time. Yes, it was so, because the whole world used to look up to Bharat for knowledge, and the highest and the best of spiritual knowledge has come out of Bharat. I take pride in telling that, and it is not wrong if I say that the highest and the best spiritual knowledge evolved in Bharat. So that is why I use this term Bharatiyata. Bharatiyata is a life which is based on basically four principles: Dharma, Artha, Kama, and the fourth one being moksha. Now what is this dharma? We will come to this dharma a little later, but just to put it very simple, dharma is like the code of conduct through which we achieve the final purpose of life, which is moksha. Moksha is actually not, like people say, liberation. Liberation is attaining freedom from something, whereas moksha is not attaining freedom, whereas moksha is actually merging with the whole existence. Becoming one with the whole existence is moksha. So it is not liberating, it is not getting freedom, it is merging with the whole universe and becoming one and becoming much more bigger. So that is moksha actually. So I can't call it liberation in one term. So liberation is a very small word, like getting freedom from something. Maybe our country got liberated from the British, okay, but liberation is definitely not moksha. So attaining moksha, there is a code of conduct, and that code of conduct is dharma, and we attain moksha through two means, and those two means are artha and kama. Now let me come to artha. Artha is usually associated with economy. See, the moment they say artha shastra, they say it is economy. No, artha is actually socio-economy, much more evolved than just simple economy, because artha involves a lot of other things. That it involves a lot of practices, it involves a lot of people, it involves a lot of other things. We will come to that. In India, we never had economy based on currency, okay, like you pay money and buy whatever you want. No, that was not the kind of economy that we had. And of course, definitely not a barter system, because to my understanding, barter system means something that is evolved out of lack. I don't have something and you have something which I want, okay, and you don't have something which I want, which I have. So these things we exchange whatever we don't have, okay. So because I don't have something, I give something that I have to you and take what I want. So this is coming out of lack, okay. Basically barter is coming out of lack. Now barter system which is coming out of lack could not have existed in India because we had everything. There was no lack. Like in spite of all the liberal thought entering into our textbooks and all that, still in the textbooks we say that during the Vijayanagara kingdom, people used to buy the Navaratnas in huge containers, like one container of Navaratnas, like that. So that was the kind of abundance that we had. Not one set, one container of Navaratna. It is called a seru, huge container. One seru of Navaratna people used to buy. So it used to be sold like on the road. Navaratnas used to be sold and people used to eat in golden plates of gold, okay. So that kind of samriddhi we had here in India. If in Bharat, and if we have to achieve that kind of samriddhi, that means the economy had to be very evolved system of economy, and we never had any currency. So everybody talks about coins and all that which were got during the different rulers and all that. These currencies were for usage outside that country, not inside the country, okay. So when you go outside as a unit of exchange, you can exchange this currency with something else. That was how it was. It was not, currency was not like today. You pay money and you take inside the country. It was a different kind of an economy. So that was a very highly evolved economy coming out of abundance, not out of lack, okay. So we'll come to that much detailed later on. Then kama is the second means. Now what is this kama? Kama, usually people associate it with a lot of different things like sex, having progeny and all. See, sex and having progeny is also part of kama, but the bigger picture of kama is to attain a very high level of beauty and a very high level of aesthetics. Now what is this aesthetics? See, we talk about aesthetics and aesthetic sense and all that, but actually when you look at the final form of it, it is like merging with nature. If you are merging with nature, your lifestyle is merging with nature, that means it looks very aesthetic. For example, if we take say a very in today's terms, a very primitive a very primitive tribal village. If you look at the village from far, you will not find the village. It actually merges with the nature. That is how they build the village. The dwellings are built in that kind of a way. The roads are built in that kind of a way, and you will see that it merges with nature. And when you go there, you will find that the people are also living in that way. So they merge. They become one. Aesthetically, they become one with nature. So having that sense and achieving that higher level of finer level of aesthetics is the bigger part of kama. So for that you have to become one with nature. That involves a very higher responsibility of conservation, environmentalism, all these things. So achieving all these things is kama. Socio-economy, environment, beauty, sense of oneness, all these are the means by which we achieve the final purpose, moksha. And for that there is a manual or there is a code of conduct called dharma. So this kind of a lifestyle, what we do is Bharatiyata.